This is a yoga workout designed for alpine skiing by the former head physiologist of the U.S. Alpine ski team. Let's dive right in.
All right, we're going to begin with that standing breathing position where we're a slight squat. If you want the hands on the ribs, inhaling into the ribs, exhaling that abdominal brace, kind of bringing the abdominals in. And once those are complete, you can kind of move around. Eventually, let's bring the hands kind of on top of the thighs and just move through the cat-cow motion. So exhaling, flex and round, and then inhaling, extend the spine, shoulders down, chest up. Yep, so 5 to 10 here. And then if you want to just push through the feet, we'll just stand up nice and tall. Inhale the arms up, watching the Tulsi. And then taking the side stretches. So just taking a second to lengthen all the way from the foot, through the thigh, through the hip, through the ribs, all the way up the side. Yep, and we'll come into the chair pose. So nice and aligned. So this is one of the first ones, and kind of just go as low as feels appropriate. Take a few of those big breaths, those ribs, and then bracing. And then next exhale, let's big, long forward fold. Lengthen the spine. You can bend the knees. And then let's try to get the sit bones up to the ceiling. And just fold in here, any little movements. On the inhale, let's halfway lift. So knees can be bent, hands can be on the thighs, but just extending through the crown of the head. Yep. And then hands on the hips, let's just go ahead and stand up nice and tall. If you want to reach up, you can. And then exhale, release. Go ahead and take the chair pose. So each time, if you want, getting a little lower. And if you want to experiment anywhere of the arms, you can reach them up, or cactus, just for fun. And then in this chair pose, let's just push through the ball of the left foot and lift the left heel. And then bring it down. And then second side, push through and lift the right heel. And then we're just going to lift the left heel and balance on the right foot and step back into the crescent lunge. Yeah. So let's see if we can get the shoulders off the ears a little bit. And then nice and steady. If you want, we'll reach the arms up, nice, tall. And then exhale, frame the foot. Yep. We'll leave the left hand down, right arm up. So taking the twist. Awesome. Getting that thoracic rotation. And then big, on the next exhale, we're going to frame the foot again. Come to our plank. Top of a push-up. And then we'll just bend the knees and lift the hips for the downward facing dog. So taking a second here if you want to pedal out the feet and extend the spine. And then just we'll stabilize, and when you're ready, let's inhale the right leg up, hips square. So extend out through the right heel, yep. And then step forward into that lunge. Press up into the crescent lunge. Yeah, use that right glute. Awesome. And then from this lunge position, we're just going to really root down through the right foot and step into the chair. So step forward into chair. Bam. Yep, sit low. Inhale, and then exhale, we'll forward fold. And then if you want to halfway lift on the next inhale, you can. And then you can either stand or fold again, whatever feels good. Awesome. And then we'll take the second side. So chair pose, nice and low. And then that breath where we're, really expanding, so get the lungs to expand, the intercostal muscles to expand, and then bracing on the exhale. And now we're going to lift the right heel. Yep. And then go ahead and let's step back into the lunge position. Yep. So feeling real activated, feel the legs kind of pushed into the legs. You can even imagine pulling the left heel and the right toes together isometrically. Activate. And if you want to inhale, your arms up. Good. And then on the next exhale, we're going to frame the foot and then twist open to the left. Good. Awesome. Then we're going to come to the plank and then downward facing dog. On the inhale, the left leg comes up when you're ready. Coming into the crescent lunge, left leg forward. And then strong left foot stepping forward into chair pose, so real low. So just keeping going with it, getting into that fire of the legs here. Let's just do 5 pulses, so lower down even more and press through the feet and come up. Yep. Good. Then we're going to hold it low and inhale, exhale, just take that little twist. Not anything too aggressive. Yep, just a little twist to the right. Inhale to center and then twist into the second side. Yep, one more time each side. Good, and then back to chair. Balancing on the right foot. Let's step back into that crescent lunge, so we're really working it now. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands to the center of the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, twist to the right. Take a big inhale, stay here. On the exhale, really hug the belly in. And then inhale back up to center. Your crescent lunge, reach it up. Yep, exhale, stay there. And then if you want, we'll just go ahead and step forward into the chair pose. Get low. Big inhale, exhale, let's just unweight the legs, forward fold. Kind of shake out the legs a little bit if you want. And then making our way back up to standing. Okay, so second side, just really getting into that squat. So isometric squat into our chair pose. And then let's do those 5 pulses, so pushing through the feet. Yep, using your legs, so down, and then you don't have to straighten all the way, but just nice and low. There we go. And try to stay even lower on those. There we go, good. And then we're gonna stay balancing on the left foot. Oh wait, here we go, we're gonna go twist first. So twist to the left, exhale. Sorry, I got excited. And then twist to the right on the exhale. And then inhaling to center. Then one more time each side. Yep, and then back to center. And then stepping back with the right foot. So we're in that lunge. Awesome. And then hands can be at the center of the chest. We're gonna inhale and then exhale, taking the twist to the left. Stay in there for a complete breath, inhale and exhale. Yep. And then gently coming back and then stepping forward into the chair pose. Yep, so really getting in there now. Kind of take it a little bit lower here. And then let's just side to side, so balancing on the right foot, lift the left foot, And then kind of switching sides, even the whole foot coming off now, even the, yeah. So let's do maybe 4 on each side. In a fatigue state, so maintaining that gaze. Alrighty, and then let's come to the chair, and then exhale, forward fold. Let's plant the hands, and we're going to step back to plank. Kind of unweight the legs for a second. And we can come all the way down to the belly. And then just extend out here. Kind of reach out. And we'll just lift the right arm and the left leg. And then release. Opposite, left arm, right leg. Good. And then let's do like 4 more each side, just nice and controlled. Fantastic. Then let's bring the forearms underneath the body so the elbows are underneath the shoulders into our Sphinx pose. Yeah, there we go. Kind of zip up the legs, but just imagine, so belly's firm, kind of off the mat, and then chest through to the, and a few deep breaths there. All right, so from here, let's leave the forearms down and then tuck the toes and come into our forearm plank, where we're almost in a cat position, so kind of rounded, paying attention to that lumbar curve. So really sucking the belly in, almost rounding. And then gently lower down, so you can lower your knees down. And then let's come into the Sphinx pose again. Yeah, you can do the neck stretch. And then one more time, let's go forearm plank with that little flexion. And then into the Sphinx pose. Fantastic. Then when you're ready, we'll just plant the hands, come into the top of a push-up, high plank. Awesome. And let's step forward into that Malasana squat. So so right here, just kind of stepping forward into that any squat. And let's try to get those deep breaths. So ribs expanding, chest expanding. Yeah, and then belly bracing on the exhales. Next exhale, we're going to forward fold, straighten the feet to the front. Yep. And then gently making the way up to standing. Super. So let's go ahead and take the chair pose. We'll kind of add in a few flows here. And then just stepping back with the left foot, we'll come into the warrior 2. So right foot forward, arms reach out. So that right knee is really going forward now. So using that right glute. Yeah. Yep. Now we're opening the hips, really using that glute. Pushing through that right foot. Awesome. And then let's kind of release the shoulders away from, yes. And remember those ribs are pulled in on that exhale, kind of bracing. If you want. If that's too much, then let it go. So we're going to keep the legs here, then trying to touch the ceiling, reverse. Oh, yep. Let's stay here for a second. Check in with the right knee. Yes, in the glute. And then coming into the extended side angle, forearm on the thigh. Pushing through, straightening the left leg. That looks awesome. Yep. Strong legs. Let's go warrior 2. See if you want to get a little lower with that same alignment. And then reverse warrior. We're going to do this a few times to get that neuromuscular kind of connection and firing. And then big exhale, extended side angle. And then warrior 2. Awesome, reverse, yep. And then extended side angle when you're ready. And we'll go through 2 more rounds of that. So 5 total. It goes warrior 2. And then reverse. And then your extended side angle. Fantastic. Yep, big inhale, and then let's windmill the hands down to frame the foot, and we'll just take that runner's lunge twist so the right arm reaches up. A few deep breaths. Yep, terrific. And then coming forward, you can just step forward into your forward fold. And then any way you want, make your way up to standing eventually. Doing great. And then we'll go into the second side. So into that chair pose, as low as we can go with our alignment. And then balancing on the left foot, we're going to extend the right leg back. Yep. And then come up to warrior two. So right foot goes down. Yep. So same cues to check in with. Really trying to fire up that glute on the left while maintaining the core. So from the warrior two, yep, reverse warrior. Taking all that length between the ribs. And then coming into the extended side angle. Yep, so strong legs, going through this 5 times on this side too. Each time looking for a little more depth if you want, a little more length. Fantastic, staying with it.
I definitely lost track.
Yep, one more for fun. Yep, strong left leg. Good. Big reach. And then, yep. On the ball of the back foot, taking a twist to the left. Big breaths here. Kind of a recovery stretch. Yep, and then just stepping forward or moving through a flow if that feels better. Eventually we'll make our way to standing. Nice and tall. Yep. So working some single leg balance now. Gonna nice and strong on the right foot. Let's just bring the left knee up. And say maybe some ankle rolls on the left, just for fun. And then we're gonna hinge with the right and extend the left leg back. So coming into these warrior 3 legs, trying to keep the hips square as possible, but the left leg active. Yep, chest up. So super controlled. Let's just go ahead and press through the right foot, hinge up, leave this foot hovering. And then from here, kind of bending into the right leg, tapping out to the side with the left, as much as that makes sense. And then back to center. So that's one. So here we go, hinge, and then come up. And then nice, whoops, that's my water bottle, step out to the side. And let's just do 5 of those. Might seem weird to step out to the side, but it's amazing how we don't really kind of do that. So it's good for the balance. Really extend. Awesome. And then hinge. Okay. And then just we'll go straight into the second side. Those are looking great. So if you want to shake it out or just pause and feel the difference between the legs, just for, kind of noticing if there is even. And then when you're ready, yep. And staying present as the side kind of gets tuned in. Excellent. So just kind of shaking it out. You can take a stretch, anything that feels nice. Then we're just going to do some twists. So in our chair, we're going to do 2 kind of variations. So our chair twists, inhaling here, exhaling to the right, inhaling center, exhaling to the left. So nice and easy, but using that brace. So 5 on each side, but making sure those ribs are kind of knit together, especially on the exhale. Okay, fantastic. And then just, coming up to standing. any way that feels appropriate. Kind of shake it out a little bit. And then we're just gonna do some twists from the standing. So we're gonna inhale, arms up, exhale, tee it out to the right, keeping the ribs, yep. Inhale, center, and then exhale, second side. And let's do 2 more on each side with your own breath. Push out, broad, yeah, you got it. Good. All right, we can exhale, big, next exhale, forward fold, kind of shake it out. And then reset the spine, extend on a halfway lift, fold it in, nice and long. Let's come up standing. We're gonna link some of those together. All right, so big sequence here. Let's come into the chair pose. Balance on the right foot. Let's extend the left leg back to warrior 2. So settle in the warrior 2 here. Awesome, good adjustments. Next inhale, reverse warrior, big reach. And then when you're ready, coming into that extended side angle. Yep, letting it feel easy but strong. And then we're gonna come back up to warrior 2. Gaze over that right middle finger if you want. And we'll turn on to the back foot and press up into that single leg balancing on the right foot towards the front of the mat. So push through the right and then just grab that left knee. So we're linking these two together now. And then let's extend into that hinge, the warrior 3. So really controlled. Awesome. And then stay with the right foot, left leg floats, hinging back up to standing. Then we're going to tap it to the side. Yep, and then we're going to bring the left knee up. And we're going to take the twist over to the left. Next inhale, we'll come back to center, find the chair pose. And then big inhale, just twist it to the right on the exhale. Inhale, center, twist it to the left. Back to chair, sit low, and then big exhale, forward fold. Awesome. And then eventually making the way up to standing for the second side. Yep, so let's take the chair pose. So get nice and low here. And then balance it on the left foot. Extend back to warrior 2 on the left. Yep, then reverse, then extended side angle. Strong legs. Warrior 2. And then the single leg balance, pressing up on the left foot. Coming into the twist. So then reaching, twisting to the right. Awesome. And then inhale back to center. And then we'll take the chair pose. Inhaling in the center, and then we'll exhale to the left. Inhale, center, and then exhale to the right. And then inhale, center, exhale, forward fold, and then shake it out. And then we'll come back up to standing. All right, one more leg burner. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, and then we'll kind of, keep it going here. So we'll step back into the crescent lunge, so just nice and controlled. Right leg is the front leg, left leg's back. We're going to do these split squat pulses here. So exhaling, push through the feet and come up. But making sure that the knees are feeling good and solid and not weird anyway, not rubbing weird. We'll really get into the hips and really pressing up through the crown of the head if you want. Try to get the chest up. There we go. So 8 or so here, it feels good. I lost count, but we're gonna, from here, then we're just gonna turn to this side, and then we're gonna get as far, so the knees are really back, and we're gonna get into this with the belly, kind of tucked so that lumbar curve, and let's do pulses here. So chest up, yep, and try to get low, yeah. Good. So really driving the knees back. Yep. Let's do 10 more. And then on the 10th one, we're going to hold it. Doing great. All right, let's hold head up, chest up. There we go. Get a little lower. And then let's just straighten the legs. Press through the feet, straighten the legs, stand out however you want to recover. Awesome. And then we'll just step forward and then take it to the second side. So this is the final kind of burner here. So same thing, setting up the alignment, left leg forward, and then 8 or 10 pulses or so. This leg may need more or less, but we definitely want to pay attention to the alignment. Do you want to try to, so here you're kind of going like this. Do you want to try to get it a little more and see if that gets into the glute a little more? And you can hold on to something if you want. Yeah. Does that feel different? Mm-hmm. Okay. So just work that, just maybe a few more. It looks better, more aligned. I like it. Nice and controlled. Make sure the neck is relaxed enough. Beautiful. Yep. And then see if we, as much as we can get, as low as we can get here with the knees driving back so the knees feel safe. So really pushing those knees. And then let's go ahead and do the pulses. So maybe even faster, but just let the heat build. This is the last burner. All right, let's go 10 more. Full gas. You got it. What is it? 3, 2, 1. Straight legs. Recover however you need to. Amazing. Good stuff. I like it. Shake it out. First, the inaugural workout here. So good stuff. We're going to just finish off when you're ready. Take as much time as you need to. As far as the workout part, then we're going to do a little bit of mobility stuff, but just with those hops.
Just the hops.
10. Spring, 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 spring. Yep, and then let's do the lateral. Spring, spring, spring. Perfect. All right, so now that's awesome. We're going to just kind of bring it down to stretch. So if we want to kind of get into the quad, let's pick a leg forward, bring the knee down on a blanket or something, and really start to get into the stretchy mobility part. Alignment, super focused.
Lifting this one, or?
It's kind of up to you. It's really up to you. Whatever you feel like you're getting the most stretch here. If you want to just kind of get into the hip flexor, or if you want to get more into the quad, then you can certainly, and even try to, without the strap, just squeeze the heel to the glute to activate the hamstring, and then you can reach back for it with the strap is totally fine. So without cramping, just kind of hold that and then release. And then let's do 2 more like that. That's going to help the quads release, getting that hamstring and the glute fired up. And then how about now? Can you reach it? Not quite. It's okay. It can stay there. You can even just drive through the right knee, down, and then imagine the ribs coming away. Yep. This even right here is really stretching the whole right quad and hip flexor. And if you want to just take your hands behind your back, that might help with the shoulders. Yep, and then releasing and taking the second side. Yep, good. And then just coming into a seat and having the legs in front, so a seated forward fold. Yeah, you can set up on the blanket or not, but maybe just kind of point and flex the feet a little bit so we get the ankles, a little bit of movement, rolling. And then, yeah, extending through the heels and then up on the sit bones. If you want to try to rotate your pelvis a little bit so the sit bone, you're kind of forward on your, if you want to reach up on the inhale, anything, just kind of, yep, release now. Hamstrings, knees can be bent if you want. Just a gentle fold forward. And when that feels like it's enough, go ahead and we'll make our way lying on the back, supine. So feet flat, knees bent, and the spine nice and long and aligned with just 1 inch or 2 with the lumbar curve, and ideally the shoulders on the mat. So big deep breaths here, kind of settling in, feeling the support of the ground or the floor. And then we're just going to take the right ankle and place it on top of the knee. Yeah, so right foot's flexed. And then getting into the figure 4 stretch here. If you want to lift the left leg, you can. Yeah, so deep breaths here, really just allowing the hips to open up. Any little micro movements that seem appropriate. Yep, and then just switching sides, roll intentionally. And then let's take a twist. So whatever kind of twist you like, then, yep, shoulders extending, really winding it down now. Second side. Yep, any other final movement or pose? And then we'll do a couple minutes of sound bath.